I am Sara Lovecraft, and it's so good to see you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful afternoon, and if you're not, hopefully I can give you a little pick-me-up here to finish out your work week, because guys, the weekend is within sight, and I am super excited. I've got a really good show for you guys today. I have a wonderful project. If you're kind of feeling the blues because you know that summer is closing down and we're coming into fall, the weather's going to change and it's going to be cold. Some of you are summer babies, and I get it. You don't want to let go of those last few weeks of summer. I've got a beautiful floral design for you guys today that I think is going to help you carry the summer vibes into your fall and winter and put a smile on your face. And it's in a beautiful sapphire blue, which happens to be the birthstone for the month of September. And believe it or not, we're already into September. 6 days in, actually. It's happened just like that. Here we are. All right, but before we get into everything, I do want to say hello to some of you out there. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Julie. Hazel's here. Eric is in the house. That's a surprise. Michelle is here. Tina's here. Kathy's here. It's so good to see everybody. I hope you guys are having a great one. All right, let's get into all of the housekeeping, shall we? Before we get into the show, of course, I have to give you all the information that you need. So while you're watching the show today, you're going to see a shopping bag on the side of your screen. And at any point during the show, you can click on that shopping bag. You can actually do it right now if you want to. You can click on the shopping bag. It's going to bring up the information about all of the items that are in today's show. So if you're in a hurry, you don't want to wait for me, you can go ahead and get a little sneak peek if you want to. You can even add items to your cart as well as check out all from that shopping bag icon. Now, you can check out and then click on me, because I'm really not going to go anywhere. You're going to be able to stay and watch while you are handling all of your business. But when you are finished, if you'll click on me, it will make me big again. This is great because it means you don't have to navigate away. However, if you do have to navigate away, because life happens, you can always come back and watch this as a video on demand, or when your items arrive at your house that you have ordered and you need to be re-inspired, you can come back and watch this video and go straight to the technique or be re-inspired. So you can always see us again and again. While you are watching us again and again over on the website, I would like to encourage you to check out not mine, but all of the other as well. I mean, I want you to watch mine too. That came out kind of weird. Not just mine, but the other amazing Art Beads designers projects as well. There is an entire library of projects and inspiration for you over on the website. So you definitely want to take advantage of all of those. And while you're there, if you'll sign up for that newsletter, that is the #1 way to stay in the know of everything Art Beads related. And guys, there's a lot of stuff going on, lots of fun things coming your way. So you want to be sure that you are staying in the know. So sign up for that newsletter, be sure you're signing up for the text notifications, and then be sure that you are chatting with each other here in the comment section, not just here, but over on the Art Beads Facebook group as well. That is Serious Art Beaders over on Facebook. It's a great place to continue the conversation from the chat, but also to share inspiration with each other, show each other what it is that you're doing with all of your Art Beads goodies, and of course to maybe gossip a little bit about what's coming your way. And I've got a little sneak peek of something today to show you at the end of the show. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to talk about that again here in a minute, but I want to be sure that we get through all of the important things first before I tease you too much about what I have for you today. All right, so I think I've covered everything. Now, if you happen to be joining us from Facebook, you're going to see things a little bit differently. There's a little box in the corner of your screen, and that is where you are going to type in the numbers for the items that are in the show. It's going to send you a link directly to your messenger. That way, you will get a link that takes you straight to the shopping. So even if you're joining us from somewhere other than artbeads.com, you can still shop very easily while watching the show. However, I do want to remind you that I cannot see your comments if you're joining us from Facebook. So I do encourage you to come on over to artbeads.com and join us on the main site and join the conversation here in chat, because we have an amazing community and we have lots and lots of fun here. Now, those of you who are part of our community, or anybody, if you'll hit those heart buttons to show the love, that is a great way to let me know that I am giving you content that you love, whether it is something that I am showing you, a bead or a technique, or you're just having a good time. Hitting those heart buttons is a great way to let me know that I'm giving you exactly what you want content-wise. And if you would like to further support our community here, please share this on your social media. All right, if you are part of a Facebook group that allows you to share these kinds of videos, or if you just want to share this on your own social media feeds, please do so. That is the #1 way to grow our community. It's virtual word of mouth, and that is how we build and get stronger and bigger. And we have so much fun here. You don't want to miss out. And we definitely want to reach all of the makers out there who don't yet know about us. So bring them on in here. Post away, guys. That's how we grow. Carolyn says it's rainy in Northwest Florida, but she's glad for the rain. I will take some of that if you'll send it my way. I would be very, very happy. It's very dry where I am. Nicole says I'm teasing. I am teasing. I've got a teaser for you guys, and I'm not going to show you all of it just yet, but I've got a little box here. A little box of goodies that you definitely want to stick around, because at the end of the show, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek and let you know maybe a little bit about what's in that box. All right. But before we do that, we've got a great show. I've got some beautiful beads for you guys and a fun little project. So I'm going to turn you around. We're going to go through all of the items that are in today's show, and then we're going to get right into it. So let's do it, shall we? All right, everybody. So in the show today, as I mentioned, you can click that shopping bag at any point to see what's in the show, but I have my new favorite, and you guys, we've seen it before. We're going to see it again. You guys remember this one? Oh yes. Oh yes. Mine's a little dusty because I have pets in the room. I apologize, but I have the nylon inner jaw pliers set for you guys. Let me lift you up just a little bit too. Uh-oh. Hold on. Give me just a second. Sorry. Get your sea legs on. I'm not trying to make you dizzy. I'll lift you up a little bit here. So I've got a little bit more room to show you what I have. All right. Now, for those of you who are looking to replace your tools, this is your sign, right? This is your sign. Now is the time. I have these really awesome, guys. These just debuted not too long ago, so these are fresh to the market. And artbeads.com has a configuration that you are not going to see anywhere else. We have an exclusive little deal for you guys, so you can get the entire set here. It's the cutter tool, it is the bent chain nose pliers, the round nose pliers, and the regular chain nose pliers, all with that inner nylon jaw that is great for work hardening. It's great for straightening your wire. With this, additionally, you will get 2 of the replacement blocks for $99.50. Guys, that is amazing because the tools sell individually for about $35 a piece, give or take some change there, right? So if you were to price that out and were to buy the tools individually, it's going to actually cost you more than to just go ahead and get the entire set. Plus, you get the little zipper case that comes with it so that you can just throw these over on the side of your desk. You can toss them into your work bag. Guys, Beadalon tools are known for their quality. They're absolutely wonderful tools, and they last for a really, really long time. These are super cool because they have that inner nylon jaw, and I'm going to be using these in my project today to show you how those work. I've showed you previously, but I'm going to continue to sing the praises of these tools because they are so nice. And how brilliant is it that you have the inner nylon jaw in every single one of the tools? That means you don't have to grab for a bunch of different tools, right? If you're right in the middle of working, then if you've got a piece of wire that you need to straighten really quickly, or you need to hold on to something and you don't want to get those pliers marks on it, you can use that inner nylon jaw to help you open and close jump rings, to hold on to components, and again, to straighten or work harden your pieces as you're working with them. So it's really, really cool. Now, I do want to say that I have 2 of the tools in the show today individually. So if you want to grab 2 of them individually without buying the entire set, you absolutely can. I do think that the entire set is a better value just because, like I said, if you buy the tools individually, you're going to pay a little bit more for them, and you're not going to get those inner replacement blocks. So when these wear out, you can replace them, which essentially is just a way to extend the life of your tool. I mean, so you're kind of getting an extra 2 tools when you look at it that way, because that's a total of 4 blocks. You can put, you can replace 2 per tool. That's going to extend the life. That's like 2 extra sets of pliers. Or if one side just needs to be replaced, it's like having even more than that. So when you think about it, I hope you're seeing the value there, because I think that it is definitely worth it. And I know, guys, it's this time of year, it's a little tight, right? Back to school just happened. The holidays are coming up. But you got to look at it as an investment, right? Every single time you buy tools, you're investing in your hobby. You're investing in yourself. So if it's that time again, you may as well go ahead and buy the whole set so that you have them on hand. They're going to get you through the holidays. You're going to be doing lots of extra work, getting things set up for, you know, those holiday craft shows or your website or whatever the case may be. So you're probably extra busy this time of year going through January. It's really good to have a nice, dependable set of tools to be working with. So, all right, guys, so let's move on, because not only do I have great tools in the show, I've got beautiful beads as well, which you can kind of see up in the top corner of your screen. So I'm going to show you what we're working with. All right, now I mentioned that sapphire is the color of September, and I have two sets of bicones for you guys to look at. So I have some gorgeous prestige 4mm faceted bicones in sapphire and in light sapphire. So that way, if you are kind of a dark blue person, then I've got you covered. If you're more of a light blue person, then I've also got you covered as well. Today's project is going to look beautiful in either one of these shades of blue with the flowers that we're going to be using, or you can switch it up, right? You can check out the artbeads.com website and you can pick out a color that works for you. But I thought the blues were absolutely beautiful, particularly for this time of year. It's a beautiful color for the month of September, but it's also a beautiful color to kind of transition you without it being a neutral, right? We talk about this time of year, we talk about those transition colors, the ones that are going to help you take your jewelry from late summer into fall. And a lot of times those color palettes are browns and tans and greens, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think that we forget about the beautiful blues and how convenient it is that blue is the September birthstone, because what a beautiful transition color, right? This is a color that is going to ease you in to the fall and right on into winter, because blue can be one of those double duty colors, right? You're going to see this in some beautiful spring designs, but you're also going to see this in some beautiful icy winter designs as well. Now, I mentioned that if you were having the fall blues, because the colder weather is coming our way within the next 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, there's no way around it. We just got to face it. Fall's coming. For those of you who love the summer, I'm going to give you a really cute project today that you're going to be able to carry your summertime into the fall and winter with some flowery earrings that I hope that you guys are going to love. So these are your two bead choices. Either one of these is going to look great in today's design. I'm going to be using the darker blue, but I think that this would look just as beautiful in the lighter blue as well. All right, setting those to the side, and then I'm going to show you our flowers. So I've got some gorgeous lucite flowers. These come in a pack of 6, so you've got plenty to work with. I obviously have more than 6 here, but I wanted you guys to see these. I have been on a lucite flower kick lately. If you follow me anywhere else other than here at Art Beads, you know that I have been using a lot of these lucite flowers in my designs. Last week I did some things in red. I have done some things today in blue and green, earlier today with some smaller versions of these flowers, but these are my absolute favorite out of all of the ones that are available on the Art Beads website. Keep that in mind though. If blue is not your thing, just like with the bicones, if you go over to artbeads.com and search around, you're going to see that there are some of these beautiful lucite flowers in other colors. But I thought blue was the perfect choice for today, and this color is absolutely beautiful. So pretty. And again, this can be a spring or summertime blue, or this can be an icy winter blue. Just kind of depends on how you're feeling, right? Or if you just love blue. You don't have to have a season. We talk about seasonal jewelry a lot, but honestly, I wear blue any old time. So pretty. Hi, Mary. How are you? Oh, Leah says, I like summer forever. It's why she misses living in Florida. Guys, did you know that Eric used to live in Florida? I don't know if he misses it or not. I'm not sure, but he's from the deep, deep South as well. Oh, Sandy says her birthday is on Friday this year. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, September baby. Leah says sapphire is her favorite. I love it. I love it. Well, you're going to love today's project. All right, so let's talk about some of the hardware that's in today's show. Now, I'm not going to go over every single bit of the hardware because some of these things you guys see on a regular basis, but I do want to mention that I've got a couple of pro packs for you guys today. And this, just like the tools, is another great way to kind of stock up and get ready for this upcoming holiday season where you're going to have a lot of things going on. You're probably going to be making a lot of jewelry. You may even be, busy with other things, thinking about parties and thinking about, all of the upcoming holiday festivities and reordering findings, and your smaller items might slip your mind. So now is a good time to go ahead and prepare in advance and stock up on the essentials, all of those things that you're likely going to run out of right in the middle of the busy holiday season. And so I have for you guys some sterling silver head pins. These are 22 gauge, and this comes in a pro pack of 50. This is a great way to stock up on your head pins, you guys. I use these like crazy. We're going to use a ton of them in today's project. So just based on today's project alone, I know that you go through head pins pretty quickly. If you make as much jewelry as I do, or even half as much jewelry as I do, you're going to go through these like crazy. So the very best value, in my opinion, is to grab these in a pro pack. So I have these again in a 50 piece pro pack. And I also have some jump rings and some pro packs as well. So we're going to be using some of these. We're also going to be using some of the sterling silver ball head pins. Now, these are the 22 gauge, and they're just the regular end, but we're also going to be using some of the 24 gauge with the ball end. These are a little bit smaller. These are what we're going to be using to wire wrap those lucite flowers with. And again, this is another great one to stock up on. I love using these. I love the ball head pin on these because it makes a beautiful center for a flower, or just adds a little decorative touch to the end of any of your designs. It's just a little bit more fancy than just the plain end. But for a project like this, we're actually kind of combining the two, which is absolutely fine. But this is a smaller gauge, so this is going to be nice for your beads that have a smaller drill hole, like your gemstone beads or your pearls. Pearls in particular usually have a smaller drill hole and need a little bit smaller. The 22 gauge sometimes doesn't fit, so having either or on hand is a really nice option, so I encourage you to stock up on both. All right, now let's talk about jump rings, because I really love the jump rings that I have in the show today. These are really, really fantastic jump rings. Not only are they great in the sense of it being a lot of them, but there's something kind of extra special about these jump rings as well. So I have 6mm pro pack of 250 of these 6mm jump rings. Now 6mm and 4mm are the most standard sized jump rings that people use, right? Use those a whole lot in your designs. I'm kind of one of those people who I tend to get the 5mm just so that it's like right in the middle. But sometimes the design calls for specifically a 6mm or a 4mm. I've got both in the show, and this one, as I mentioned, is 250 pieces. That's a lot of jump rings. Grab a couple of these pro packs and you should be good to go for a while with all of your jewelry making. And again, that size 6mm is a great kind of middle ground size that's going to work for a lot of different things. And then I have these. I am kind of in love with these. So I had never been exposed to these until I started working for Art Beads. These are jump lock jump rings. And some of you already know what that means. I had no idea what it meant. These are precision cut sterling silver jump rings that are made to fit together and look as seamless as possible. So the 4mm jump rings that I have in the show today are these jump lock jump rings. It's 100 pieces. They're 20 gauge jump rings. I'm going to show you when you close these between two pairs of pliers, they close so nicely because of the precision cut that's on them. So they stay. You don't have to worry about them slipping open. They're precision cut, so they fit together perfectly. So you can see that one's slightly open, right? And we're going to pretend like we're using it between our two pairs of pliers to, I don't know, hook to an ear wire or something. And when you close those together and you look at that, it looks almost like a solid ring, right? That precision cut means that it's going to be perfectly closed every single time. That can make or break your design. So I love the precision cut jump rings. They're definitely, in my opinion, better quality than some of the others that are out there. And I had never been exposed to these until I started working with artbeads.com. So I was pretty excited about these. I know it's kind of silly to like get excited about a jump ring, but you know, these are the little things that hold your designs together. And at the end of the day, this is what's going to make or break that piece of jewelry, literally make or break that piece of jewelry. So I love having these in the show. So if you want to get a nice set of really good jump rings, today's the day to do it. All right. So let's talk about the project itself, and then we'll talk about some wire and other things as we go. I got through the main stuff, but now I want to get to the good stuff here as far as the project is concerned. We'll talk wire as we're going. So this is what our project is today. We're creating these really beautiful teardropped earrings with a little flower cluster using some of those beautiful lucite flowers, and then we're also using some of those gorgeous prestige bicones to create a dangle, a little chain dangle at the bottom here. Absolutely beautiful. And as you can imagine, the light sapphire color would look just as good, or maybe a combination of both, right? If you can't decide, maybe the dark blue and the light blue, you just can't choose. You don't have to. Imagine making these in a combination of both colors. I think it would be absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be focusing on the dark blue here. It takes about 13 of those jump rings to complete each earring, and it takes 3 of the lucite flowers. And you can see we're using some wire here to create this shape. So our component is going to be using 18 gauge German style wire. That's my go-to. You guys know I love that German style wire, and I'm so happy to be able to offer that to you on artbeads.com. I really made sure that that was something that we were able to offer to you guys. It was really important to me because German style wire is kind of my go-to. So I made a very special effort to let the Art Beads people know, let all the team know that like I have to have that German style wire to work with, and any opportunity I can to use it, I'm going to show you guys. So we're using some 18 gauge. We're also using a little bit of 24 gauge of the German style wire as well. We're using some sterling silver chain, the chain that is in today's show. If you want to click on that shopping bag to take a look at it, this is one of our top rated chains. This is the perfect size for so many different things. And I love that it is sterling silver, which means that, of course, the quality of it is really nice, and it's going to last for a really long time. So you've got 2 pieces of chain here in your design, as well as all of those head pins that I showed you a little while ago. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? To create this teardrop shape, I've got 2 of them here to show you these little components that I've made. What a cool little component. You can actually use these in so many different ways, but for us, we're going to be using them in our earrings design. So it takes about 4 inches of the 18 gauge wire to create this little component. I'm going to be using my round nose pliers, and I'm actually going to be using the handle of my hammer today to create the shape, though I'm going to encourage you to use kind of whatever you've got around you to create that shape, but that's what I'm going to be using. And then we're going to work harden this just a little bit just to ensure that shape. Now, it is made out of that German style wire, which of course is a medium temper wire. So this is really going to retain its structure. It's not a dead soft wire. It's not super bendable or malleable or pliable. It has the medium temper, so it's already a little on the hard side. So when you go to work harden this, you are not going to have to work harden a whole lot. The 18 gauge is already pretty sturdy. It is definitely my go-to for creating components. But just for a little extra insurance, we are going to work harden it just a little bit. All right, so we're going to take that piece, that 4-inch piece of the 18 gauge wire, and I'm going to grab my round nose pliers here. We are going to create 2 loops on the ends of our wire, 1 on either end. So I'm going to grab that wire, and I really want to try to make my loops the same size, just consistently, you know, consistency wise. So try to place that wire in the same place for each loop if you can. All right, so I'm placing that in there, and I'm going to turn a loop on the end of the wire, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here on the other end. Grabbing that wire, again, trying to place that kind of in the same place on the pliers so that those loops are pretty close to the same size. You can always mark your pliers with a permanent marker if you want to. All right, so now this is what I've got. I've got 2 loops on the ends, and now it is time to form this kind of deep U shape. And as I mentioned, I'm gonna use my hammer for this, but you can use literally anything that you've got on your desk, right? Anything that you can use to get that round shape. So I'm going to place my wire in the middle up against whatever mandrel you're going to be using, and I am just gently going to guide that wire around, bring my 2 loops together. And I'm going to try to bring those loops together as close to the same length apart as possible. So try to make that even. And now we've got this little U shape. And of course we can always bend this to make it deeper if we need to. We can adjust this as much as we need to. But I've got the main shape here. I am gonna actually kind of overbend this just a little bit just to kind of make this more of a teardrop and less of a U. Okay, so I just use my fingers to squeeze that together. Now I'm gonna put this on the block and I'm gonna work harden it just a little bit, and then we're gonna turn our loops so that they're facing away from us. But we're gonna go ahead and work harden this first so that it will lay nice and flat on the block. Now, if you need a block, there's a block and a hammer in the show today. These are essentials for creating your own wire components. I very rarely create a wire component without work hardening it, whether it is a component like this, whether I'm making my own ear wires. So definitely something that you want to consider adding to your stash if you don't have them yet. And the nylon hammer is really nice. This one is a little bit different than the one that's in the show. The one that's in the show actually has a wedge on one side, which I would really like to have. That's really helpful to get like precision when you're getting in there to work harden. But the nylon jaw does not change the shape of the wire, right? It does not, it's not going to create any texture at all. All it's going to do is just work harden. So it's not going to flatten. It's not going to create little dimples. It's just going to work harden. So we're going to place this onto the block. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the other side as well. Leah says, ooh, the jump rings with the precision cut. Yes, I agree. They're so nice. It looks like a soldered solid ring when you use a precision cut jump ring. And I really love that look. All right, so once I have work hardened both sides, I'm ready to move on to the next step. The next step is going to be to use my bent chain nose pliers here. You can use whichever ones you want. Regular chain nose is fine. But I'm going to grab a hold of that loop. I'm going to hold the component in my hand, and I'm just going to very gently twist to turn that loop so that when I am looking straight on at this piece, that loop is facing away from me. So it looks like, it just looks like a plain piece of wire, right? And I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, just gently turning that loop with a twist so that when I'm looking at this straight on, you don't really see those loops. You see a little whisper of them, but for the most part, you don't see that loop. And you can always adjust them a little bit too if you want to. All right, so there's our component shape. Now, we're going to move on to the next step of this. And the next step of this is getting this ready to attach our chain bottom to, right? Our chain bottom. I don't know why I called it that. Our chain that goes on the bottom. This is where we're going to use a little bit of that 24 gauge wire. It's just a smaller gauge. It's also the German style wire, so it is still the medium temper. It's got, you know, good structure to it. It's not super bendable, but just enough to get what we want here. So we're going to get a really tight wire wrap. We're actually going to create a little loop with our wire on both sides that we can then hang our chain from. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to use 2 pieces of the 24 gauge wire, and you really don't need a ton of this wire. Probably about 3 or 4 inches is going to be plenty. I have cut way more than I actually need. So I'm going to trim some of that off just because it's a little too much for what we are doing here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this wire and we are going to anchor it with about 4 wire wraps. So I'm just holding it over the component. Okay, and I'm going to wire wrap just like so. There's 3. There's 4. All right, now I'm coming up again. And what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to undo all of this where it's just, you know, that's just the tail of my wire. I'll undo that in a minute. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to grab a hold of that component right next to that loop, or I'm sorry, right next to that wire, because we're going to make a loop. I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to guide it over the mandrel of those round nose pliers, just like that, to make a little loop. And then very carefully, I'm going to wire wrap 4 more times. And I can do this while it is still on the pliers, or I can take this off. It's whatever you're more comfortable doing. I'm going to do about 2 of those wire wraps, and then I'm going to take it off of the tool and finish that up. Just because it's a short wire, it's just a little tricky to hold on to everything all together. But now I know that that loop is in place. Now I'm going to take these wraps and I'm actually going to squeeze them together just like that. And I'm going to finish wrapping. You can use your pliers if you need to. The short little pieces of wire sometimes are a little tricky to work with. Hi, Debbie, welcome in. We're glad you're here. All right, so about 4 wire wraps on that side just so that they match on either side. And then again, pushing those together, right? See how I just took the wraps and I pushed them towards each other. Now, you can leave it like that, or you can take this in your pliers. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and sometimes you have to redo it because you can be, if you're like me, I'm a little strong-handed here, but I'm holding that loop in my bent chain nose pliers, and I am very gently going to twist once. And what that does is it just creates the tiniest little loop. So this is not a big, bulky loop. It's just a tiny little inconspicuous loop, a perfect little place to attach some chain, okay? All right, then I'm going to tidy this up by cutting off the tails on either side. So coming in with my cutter, trim, coming in with my cutter on this side, and trim. All right, and then I'm gonna kind of slide this into the spot that I want it. And then I'm gonna repeat that over here on the other side with another piece of wire. So I'm gonna take another piece of that 24 gauge wire, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to anchor that wire to the component. Hi, Sandy. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 coming up. And as I come up for that 5th wrap, I'm going to bring my round nose pliers back in. Okay, grabbing that wire. Whoops, sort of let go here. Grab that wire, show you up close so you can see exactly what I'm doing here, okay? I'm taking that wire and I'm just guiding it around the edge of the mandrel to create a little loop. And then I'm just continuing the wire wrap, right? And you just want to finish that off with however many wire wraps you did on the other side. So if you did 4, finish with 4. If you did 5, finish with 5. Okay? Take that off. And then you are just going to squeeze those 2 together, just like that, okay? And then very gently, you grab that wire, okay? Oh, it would be helpful if you could see. Grab that loop, and you're just gonna give it a twist. Now be gentle, be gentle. It's just 24 gauge wire. It wouldn't take a whole lot to really damage that wire. It's strong enough to hold everything, but small enough to be, you know, not to detract from your overall design. All right, then you're gonna, same thing, come in with your cutter and you're gonna cut off any of the excess that you don't need, right? Undo a little bit if you need to. And trim. Okay. Janota says, well, what a cool trick. I agree. I like it. It's nice if you just need a little tiny loop and you don't want anything big and bulky. All right, now the cool thing about these is that they still slide around, so you can really kind of position them exactly where you want them on your component. And some of you may want them close together, some of you may want them further apart, so you just kind of decide where it is that you want those to be. And then once you decide where you want those, you're going to come in with your pliers very gently and you're going to squeeze those wire wraps. You're going to do the same thing with the others. Now, this is not 100% foolproof that these are never going to wiggle again, but for the most part, this is going to tighten these down so that they're pretty much going to stay where you put them. Okay. All right, now we're ready to move on to the next step. Next step is our chain with our little dangles on it. So let's get our scraps out of the way here and let's take a look at what we've got here. So we have our piece of chain and we have all of our little dangles. Now, I've done most of the dangles for us in advance just to save time. It is a total of 13 dangles and I've done all but 3 of those. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 of these little dangles together. They are just on those head pins that I mentioned that we had that awesome pro pack of the head pins, and it's just simple loops. So we're gonna do 3 of these together and then we are going to attach these to our chain. All right, so for our simple loops, each one of the bicones, you're going to drop that down onto a head pin, okay? Then you're going to come in with your chain nose pliers. You're going to grab that wire right where it is exiting the bead. Hold on to your bead. I know it's a little bead and it's kind of pointy, a little tricky to hold on to, but you're going to bend that wire right where it is exiting that bead, okay? Then you're going to come in with your cutter tool and you're going to trim off, leaving yourself about 1/4 of an inch of wire. And then you're going to come in with your round nose pliers. You're going to grab that wire and you're going to roll back to create your closed loop. Okay, and you're going to do that with all of those. We've got 2 more, so we're going to do a little practice here. Susie says she loves the movement of the dangles on the chain. I do too. All right, so bending the wire, coming in, trimming off, using our round nose pliers, grab that wire, roll back, create your loop. That one was a little big, that's okay. In a project like this, it doesn't matter. Like you can see, not all of my loops are absolutely perfect. It's totally fine because when they are all hanging from that chain, you're not even going to be seeing those little loops anyway. So you can let yourself off the hook, right? Give yourself some grace. Those loops don't have to be perfect. All right, bending the wire, cutter tool coming in, trim yourself about 1/4 of an inch of wire using the round nose pliers. Grab that wire and roll back to close up your loop, just like so. Okay. All right. Once you've got 13 of those, you're ready to go. Now, you can do this 2 different ways. You can either go ahead and attach your chain to your component now, or you can do the dangles first and then connect it. It's totally up to you. I personally, when I'm doing this on my own, I like to go ahead and connect the chain and hang it that way. But for the sake of today and doing things in a way that like shows you guys what we're doing, I need to take care of that little piece of wire sticking up there. It's driving me crazy. I'm actually going to lay the chain out. We're going to do these with it off of the component. Okay. So basically what we're doing, I'm going to show you, we're going to start on one end here and we're going to skip that first link on one end, and it actually kind of ends up kind of weird, but you'll just have to follow along with me here. So we're going to skip 2 links and then add our first dangle, and then from then on we're going to skip a link in between. Okay, so what we're going to do is just that. We're going to take one of our little pre-made loops that we just finished, right? They're pre-made because they're already ready. Don't you wish they were all pre-made? It would be so much easier than sitting and doing all those loops yourself. All right, we're going to hold on to the bead. We're going to twist to open that loop, right? We don't want to pull it apart because we'll never get it back to that shape. So you want to be sure that you're twisting to walk that open. All right, we're going to hold on to that. And then we're going to bring our chain in here and we are going to skip 2 links, 2 rings. This is always tricky doing on camera. And we are going to attach our bead, and then we are going to close that loop back. Okay, so there's one. All right, we're going to pick up another. Kind of wishing I had done a lot of this in advance because a lot of things could go wrong at this point, you guys. Bear with me. All right, then we're going to skip one. It's just because it's difficult to hold this and also show you at the same time. So maybe it'll be better if I put this down on the mat here. It's just kind of tricky. The whole thing here, when you're working with little small things. All right, skip a link. And then this is going to go into the next link. And I thought I had it. Hold on, skip one. Going into the next. There we go. All right, and then you're going to close that back. Okay, and you're going to pick up another one. Oh, Eric's asking for a close-up. I got you. Hold on. It's so hard to hold this little tiny chain in these jump rings all at the same time, but I got you. I got you. All right, so okay, skipping a link. Going through the next one. Did you guys get that? Did you see that? It's only tricky in the sense that I'm looking at this through the camera, so I'm not actually watching what my hands are doing. And guys, I gotta tell you, that is a skill that you gotta learn in order to do this job, because it's sort of like doing things in the mirror, because it's not really your hands, but it is, you know what I mean? So it's a little awkward. All right, so here we go. We're doing good. We're doing great. All right, picking it up. Get as close as I can for you. Cindy says she can't see. No, Cindy, I'm trying to help, babe. I promise. So sorry. All right, all right. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right, skipping a link. Okay, and then going into the next one. So all we're doing, guys, is we're just attaching these every other link in the chain. That is literally all we're doing. So we are just hooking that bead through the chain on every other link, right? So you can see, and this one needs to be flipped over this way. Oh, I put it on the wrong side of the chain, which is also not super great either. You want to try if you can, and it's really hard to do this when we are looking at this the way that I'm looking at this. You want to try to have these all on the same side of the chain. So let me show you. If you can, it's going to be easier just to show you on the one that's finished. See how each one of those little simple loops is going through the chain and it's all on the same side. That's going to really help these to hang correctly, because if you've got one hanging on one side of the link and the next one hanging on the opposite side of the link, it doesn't hang nearly as well. It'll still look good and it's really cool. It makes the cha-cha look. But if you are really picky about the uniformity of it, you want to try to get all of those links on the exact same side. Okay. All right. So you're going to fill that chain up, skipping every other link until you've got all 13 of your bicones attached to your chain. Then what you're going to do is you are going to very gently, now I've already done it for you here, you're going to very carefully open up that link of chain, or you can use a 4mm jump ring right there to attach it to your little loop that you made. Okay. And that's going to create that beautiful drape with all of those beautiful beads. All right, so now you're going to sit that to the side and we're going to work on the next part of this. Now the next part of this, I actually kind of need to cut my chain because I've got one ready here. I want my two pieces of chain to be the same length. So a lot of times this is a good opportunity to kind of show you a little trick for cutting chain if you ever run into this situation. So this little cluster's already got the correct length of chain on it right here. Okay, so you can see, and we're about to make one of these little clusters ourselves. Now I need to cut a piece of chain to go with it. So what I like to do to make sure that they're both exactly the same size is I will thread my chain onto a head pin, right? And then hang it. And then I'll thread my next piece on and hang it right next to it so that I can kind of see, and then I can trim off accordingly so that I have two pieces that are the same length. Now, I know that some of you think, oh, that's a no-brainer, but a lot of people struggle with this and, you know, and end up laying their chain down flat, and that can be a real challenge. So doing something like this where you are literally hanging it and letting gravity kind of come in and do the work for you, then you can get your two pieces the same length. All right, so for our little cluster of flowers, we are going to take 3 of our beautiful little flowers here, and I'm going to show you. So there's our little piece of chain, and here are our flowers. And remember, we have our little head pins with the ball on them. So we're going to do these real quick. All right, so I'm going to thread those flowers onto our ball head pins, and then when it is coming out the back, I'm just going to bend it straight over, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and grab that wire, and it's kind of off to the side, just a little bit from center. Okay. I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to go up and over. Then I'm going to rotate the pliers, take that wire over to the other side, and also kind of roll that loop down to the back surface of that flower, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to wire wrap that, and I'm going to wire wrap it around the base of that loop and kind of make like a little spiral or a messy wrap. Just like this. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to wrap that around about 3 or 4 times. Okay. You can see how I just kind of made like a little wire bundle. Now, what I've done is I've secured this bead. There's no wiggle room. It's not wiggling. It is stationary. That flower is not wiggling on that head pin, right? And that's exactly what I want. I want it to be nice and sturdy. I don't want it to spin around. I don't want it to be loose. Then I'm going to come in with my cutter and I'm going to trim off. And then I'm going to repeat that with 2 more flowers, okay? So you can see it again. Threading that onto the head pin, bending the wire, okay? Then I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers, up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then roll that loop down as close to the surface of that flower as I can get, okay? And then I'm going to wire wrap around the base of that loop that I made. Use your pliers, use your fingers, either way. Get it nice and secure, and then you're going to come in with your cutter and you're going to trim off. Okay, so there's number 2. And they don't have to be perfect. Remember, this is on the back of the flower, so it's totally fine. It does not have to be exactly perfect. It doesn't have to look like anything. It's going to be a little cluster, so nobody's ever going to notice what it looks like on the back. As long as it's secure, you're good to go. Okay, so bending the wire. All right, coming in, round nose pliers again. This is the last one. Grab that loop, roll that down to the surface. I'm gonna switch hands here so I can wire wrap. Lots of heart buttons. Y'all hit those heart buttons if you are enjoying today's project. All right, and then I'm going to trim off the excess. All right. Okay, now it's time to put all of this together. This is the fun part. This is the part where it actually pays off. All those little simple loops, all the little wire wrapping, all of those things are going to come together to create an earring. All right, we're going to take a jump ring. Okay, one of those 6mm jump rings that I showed you at the beginning of the show. We're going to thread on all 3 of our flowers. And before we close that jump ring, you see what a beautiful little cluster that makes. Before we close that, we're going to thread on our chain that we just cut. Well, again, it's another one of those things where I'm looking through. There we go. All right, and then we're going to close that back. Thank you guys for being patient with me. All right, now don't forget, I got a little sneak peek of something. So as soon as these earrings are done, we're not finished. I got a little something to show you guys. All right, so don't go anywhere. All right, now we're ready to add these to our earring. And you know, you can actually use the 4mm jump ring for your cluster, which I think is what I did in this one. I think it was the 4mm. The 6mm might be a little big, but either one is going to work. You can see with that one, I used the 4mm jump ring. So it's up to you. And if you use the 6mm jump ring for your flower cluster, you can actually add more flowers if you want to as well. There's room for more. So if you wanted to really fill this up, you could do that. All right, now I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring here. I'm going to twist, and I'm going to thread that on to one of the loops on the top of our earring. I'm going to thread on the bottom of the chain with our beautiful flower cluster, and then I'm going to thread that into the next loop. And then before I close that back, I'm going to add my ear wire, and we're done. And you have a beautiful pair of earrings in gorgeous sapphire blue for September or any time you want. And you did all of that yourself, right? From start to finish. The only thing you didn't actually create were the jump rings and the ear wires. Every single, well, and the chain. Every bit of the rest of this you did yourself. These are truly, truly handmade earrings. Absolutely beautiful. It's a unique design. It can be made a little bit smaller. So if the component is a little bit bigger for you, you can go down a couple of inches. Well, maybe not a couple inches. I would definitely take this down in 1/2 inch increments. And there are some smaller lucite flowers on the Art Beads website. So if this is a little big for you, definitely can make some size adjustments if you want to. Or, as I always say with big earrings, you can always turn this into a pendant instead. So if you wanted to hang this from a beautiful piece of leather or a beautiful piece of chain or something like that, you absolutely could do that as well. And of course, these always can double as house decor. You could hang this from, you know, a lamp. I have a lot of like dangly things hanging from lamps in my house. You could make some bigger versions of this for holiday decorations if you wanted to. But what a beautiful pair of earrings. What a lovely gift this would make to somebody else, right? So pretty. And again, you could do this in this light sapphire or a combination of both. I think that would be absolutely beautiful. So pretty. All right, guys. Eric is mentioning we're in the final hours of our 60% off sale. You definitely want to take advantage of that before you close out your cart today. And you want to be sure you're closing out those carts, guys, because I cannot promise that what is in your cart now will still be in there a little while later, because things tend to sell pretty quickly, especially when I show off fun projects like this. People get really excited. So you want to be sure you're closing out your cart. You are definitely checking out that 60% off sale that's going on over on artbeads.com. All right. I am going to put that on for you here in just a second, but I gotta show you guys a little something. You ready for it? Okay, now, sitting this over here to the side. Now, if you watched us, first of all, if you happen to be with us while we were at Bead Fest, you may have noticed something. If you were watching us from home while we were at Bead Fest, you also may have noticed something. We mentioned that a llama was coming to Art Beads. And when we said that, people just looked at us like, what? What are you talking about? All right, guys. Well, I cannot tell you exactly, but I can certainly give you a little sneaky peeky. I may have a llama here in front of me. Got this box of goodies here, and I'm covering up part of this because I don't want to give the secret away, but I just want to show you the bead llama is coming to Art Beads. Now, what does that mean? Well, you're just going to have to stick around to find out. Remember how I told you it's really important you're signing up for that newsletter? It's really important that you are staying in the know of all things Art Beads related, because you guys do not want to miss this. This is coming in hot, and it's coming very, very soon. Now, I'm not going to show you everything. I don't know if you saw that or not. I don't know. I'm not going to show you everything. But S Barb Girl says you're going to be a llama mama. I am going to be a llama mama. I want to show you just a little sneaky peeky of the box here. Maker's going to make. And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but this is a big old box. This is not a small box, you guys. Not a small box. Now, I'm not gonna open it, but, oh, did you see anything? Did anybody see anything in there? Oh, no, I think that's enough. I am the biggest tease. You guys, but makers are going to make, because the llamas are coming. Llama goodness is coming to Art Beads. Now, I can't say any more than that. I've been sworn to secrecy. I'm going to turn you around. It's a secret, but it's a good one. So, let me try to close this back here. And I'm going to hold this up for you from another point of view, just so you can kind of see. Making sure I'm covering things up here. Look at this box. Little llama coming your way. Coming in hot, little llama mama. Llama Mama Maker right here. All right, guys, you're just going to have to stay tuned. That's it. That's all you're getting from me. But know that you don't want to miss out. So again, sign up for that newsletter. Be sure you're signing up for the text notifications. Be sure you're checking out the website on a regular basis, taking advantage of all those sales and specials. You might want to load up on some tools, maybe not. I don't know. You never know. You might want to grab yourself a set of these because you might be needing these in the very near future. I don't know. Susie says she's so confused. It's okay, Susie. It's all right. One of these days, I'm going to be able to take my hand off the top of that box and pull back that paper and show you exactly what is inside that box. And I cannot wait. I want you to be excited too. So be paying attention. You don't want to miss out when the llama has landed. All right. All right, friends, thank you so much. Oh, I was going to show you the earrings so that you can see these on because they're absolutely beautiful when you have them on. Gravity always does what gravity does and makes jewelry look exactly the way it is supposed to. It's funny because a lot of times things look good on the mat or they don't look good on the mat. It really takes gravity, right? We have to use that. We have to remember, okay, we're finished with the design. Now add gravity because that's what really turns these pieces of jewelry into what they are meant to truly be. So there you go. Beautiful earrings for September or anytime you want to wear something blue, a little flowery, get you through. I know those summer babies are not happy about the fall weather coming your way, but now you can take your flowers with you into the cold weather, right? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon and letting me be a part of your beadie journey. Be sure that you are setting your reminders, same time, same place. Next week, I'll be right here with you for another fun project. I've got some extra special things in next week's show, so you don't want to miss out on that one either. And I might show you another little hint. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how it goes because there's some people that are not here today that might need to have that little peek again. We'll see. I may remind you. All right, guys, that's it. Don't forget, set your reminders not just for me, but the other amazing designers on the Art Beads team as well, guys. And we will see you again next week with wonderful designs for you guys. In the meantime, have an amazing weekend and we will see you guys